Speaker Mike Johnson went on CNN with Kaitlynn Collins, who tried to trap him over the lie that Democrats are really pushing right now, trying to fearmonger Americans into believing that the Trump administration plans to take away health benefits from the most vulnerable people in our society. He makes her pay for that lie in this clip I'm about to show you. The horrible day for CNN continued, though, as Scott Jennings took apart another lie the Democrats are really trying to push, that President Trump is shredding the Constitution and acting like a dictator, and when he challenges them to explain their position, it literally catches them like a deer in headlights, scrambling, stumbling for words. The lesson you are about to learn is that it is very difficult to logically defend gaslighting in a debate. Before that, though, Pam Bondi dropped some pretty shocking news last night about the Epstein client list. Check this out. I'm Zach Costello.
A lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have, well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information, but it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well, we'll
along
look for
with his
that.
Co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
It's going to be really interesting to see the names of the people on that list, and hopefully this delivers. Check back later this afternoon. I'll be mining for the gold to share with you as things are released and reactions come out. Speaking of delivering, it's another day that ends in Y, so that means Scott Jennings ripped apart more media Democrats, this time making them look like absolute fools trying to defend their claims that the actions of President Trump are unconstitutional. Watch this.
Both of you all made an interesting point, which is that your view is that Trump is shredding the Constitution. I'd like to hear more about that. But that it seems to me that you all both believe that the unelected part of our government, the bureaucracy, has a responsibility to resist the political leadership. Is that your view?
That's not actually
That's
what
not
we
at all
said. We
what I
said they
said.
are
Yeah, it is.
upholding the Constitution, the principles of the Constitution, and at times
How
that we
is
have
Trump
seen.
shredding the Constitution?
My God, he's like, should
I
we
mean,
go to
seriously,
police?
do we have to
believe in
give
the
you a
balance of
civics
power,
lesson
Scott.
that we have?
I don't know,
We put all power in the executive
How is
branch.
holding the
The
government-
legislative branch, the FBI. Now we're in control of the military. We're
Yes.
silencing media.
Commander-in-chief,
This
head
is
of the
what you
military.
do
Yeah,
in a
Supreme Court.
dictatorship.
Are
This
you
is not.
suggesting that the president is not the commander-in-chief of the military?
I am suggesting that the president is going to put in charge somebody who is going to contravene the Constitution. And at some near point, this conversation will look very silly for you because it will be obvious. And right now, you're
Wait,
gaslighting.
he's gonna
but when we
put-
get to the actual
he's
rubber
gonna
of the
put-
road of
I'm
this,
sorry.
it will be clear.
I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that? The president is in charge of the military, is he not? You said he's going to put someone in charge of the military?
The president is in charge of the military. That is how it works.
This is important conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm letting you have.
This is what happens when you try to defend gaslighting. Scratch the surface just a little bit with a targeted question, and there is nothing there. This is who CNN has on to defend the narrative of the left. One, a senior advisor to Kamala Harris' 2024 campaign, and the other, a Substack author and host of Rap Latte on YouTube, who offers us a civics lesson by naming the branches of government, some of them, when he doesn't even know that the president is in charge of and the commander-in-chief of the military. He claims this conversation is going to look very silly for Scott Jennings. Well, tell me, guys, who looked silly? And finally, speaking of looking silly, Kaitlynn Collins tried to trap Speaker Mike Johnson in the lie that Democrats are pushing right now, fear-mongering Americans into believing that the Trump administration plans to take away health benefits for the most vulnerable. He makes her pay for that here. Watch.
You say Democrats are lying when they say you're going to cut Medicaid. The plan that you passed does instruct the House Energy and Commerce Committee to find $880 billion in cuts, right?
That's right. That's one of the
and
committees.
So how did they get
Kaitlyn,
$880 billion in cuts from that committee without touching Medicaid?
because ENC has it actually has the broadest jurisdiction of any committee in Congress. It covers everything, energy and commerce. You know, the name indicates how broad the jurisdiction is. I challenge you or anybody on your staff, do a word search for Medicaid on the resolution that we passed last night. You will not find it. That is not part of this equation, okay? We're talking about finding efficiencies in every program, but not cutting benefits for people who rightly deserve that. Work requirements for Medicaid. That is something that is public opinion polls almost 90%. You don't want able-bodied workers on a program that is intended, for example, for single mothers with 2 small children who's just trying to make it. That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to find those guys and we're going to send them back to work. That's what everybody supports. That's what the Republicans are for. And by the way, we find dignity in our work. That's going to be good for everybody.
Yeah. Not everybody deserves Medicaid. Remain skeptical, guys. I know if you watch my videos and follow this channel, you likely are. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe as we strive to remain in truth together. But there is a lot out there all over the place that is just false propaganda to gaslight you into believing a certain narrative. The Democrats are throwing mud at the wall to see what sticks right now, and they don't care if it's true or false.